there's something strange going on right now on the market with one specific card that could point towards a couple of things that we will talk about today. One can be really exciting, and one is just kind of like a possible hint towards objectives coming up. And EA is also completely radio silent on the Vidić compensation. We've heard absolutely nothing as of right now. We'll talk about that, more SBCs as well, other shit, God knows what. Thank you so much for being here. We inch closer every day to 15,000 subs. And I did get a new team here. I want to quickly just talk about a couple of things with this new team. If you guys want to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. The link is in the description. Use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. So I'm gonna make a tactics video tomorrow, the next day. I finally found tactics that I'm like very confident in terms of end game tactics, because they're a little bit different to me than ones throughout the majority of the year, if I could speak. This is the time of the year now where you can really start to experiment with different instructions, because players are so good now. They have so much pace, so many more high work rate players, that summer FIFA is different than kind of the rest of it in terms of like the tactics you can get away with, right? We'll talk about that in, you know, a day or two. Then Trent Alexander-Arnold I bought, and Trent in game is for some reason super good in FIFA all the time. And one of the reasons being because he's kind of like, he's like thick. I don't know what that is with Trent in FIFA, but his body type is huge, so it's weird, but it makes him even better. And high defending, almost max actually, and max passing mixed with long ball plus huge penis, 5-star weak foot. I mean, it's a great card. Onana's really good. I really like him a lot, honestly. The bruiser, intercept, and incisive combinations, actually what I love about Loftus-Cheek down here. I've always, you know, raved about him if you're familiar with the channel. Love him. Ballack is great. Garnacho as well, been very good so far. Only have one goal, but I like the fact he's incisive as a winger. It's very unique. So only been a few games, but that's kind of what I like about the team right now. Anyway, that's beside the point. Content today was actually a couple of SBCs. One of them is very good, actually. 4 playstyle pluses. They're all pretty good playstyle pluses as well. And it's a great card, actually. It gets 3 chemistry as well, I believe. So there's a nice card there. Then we got Christian Press as well. But then I also want to talk about the 8410 upgrade right now. It's nice to have this. I honestly think we're already at the point where I wouldn't mind this repeatable as is. I think we're at the point now where pack weight is just so much worse than it was last year, that why not just give this to us repeatably at this point? I don't actually see the harm in that anymore. Especially that it's not even an 8510, it's an 8410, because I guess 8510 would just be too good, even though the pack weight sucks. I'm not sure, not to just sit here and hate on everything that they drop, but they're not dropping stuff to me right now that's like making me excited, and they pretty easily could. I feel like if I just change a couple things. But okay, here's what the title of the video was about. And Golden Mbappe has just rose over 100,000 coins overnight, and you can tell he was up 100k for quite a while here, because you look at his price now, it's down 100,000 coins from his price here on this screenshot. So what could this possibly mean? Well, it probably means one of two things. One, which would be a really fun thing, and hopefully this is the case, would be somehow Mbappe fits into an evolution. And that would be fun. Fuck it, right at that time of the year, 1 playstyle plus and less than 90 shooting or something like that. Say those are requirements, and that's all you would need. I don't know. Right, but Golden Mbappe, this is not a coincidence that he shot up this much. Okay, it's not a coincidence, right? Something obviously caused this, right? I mean, look at that spike on his graph there just for like an hour or two, right? That massive spike, right? Not a coincidence. So that's one of the outcomes where he's actually needing an evolution, and he's gonna be very good in the Evo. The other option here is there was a leak that maybe the next Champs week for the Champs objective will be a French team. Now, other French cards didn't really rise too much. I actually dug into this a little bit. I tried to look at like a FUT birthday Thierry Henry, right? One of the best French strikers. I know he's 2.2 mil. He's very expensive, but you would see slight rises on a lot of different cards here if these leaks were being handed out to Discords and stuff like that. There's like no rises on a lot of these other French cards, like that David Ginola card. That's actually pretty cheap now, right? This card here, 584. This has been, he's actually lower than even what he was a little bit ago. Yeah, there's like no real spike in this graph, right? So I'm not sure. It seems unlikely that the French objective will be next, but that's obviously a possibility. And obviously option 3, this is some sort of Ponzi scheme. It's some sort of Bernie Madoff, Enron Ponzi scheme. And some TikTok trader convinced a bunch of 12-year-olds go buy Mbappe because he's going to be in an Evo coming up here soon. That's a possibility as well. But more often than not, we end up seeing there being a reason for a big spike on a card. It ends up coming true. Something usually causes that. That does end up being true. Now, that also sparks a debate about who the hell knows about this stuff. If it were to be a leak about an Evo coming up, who the hell knows about the Evo, right? Who's finding out this stuff? To me, I always bring up FIFA Trading Romania. He might not be doing anything at all, so I feel bad bringing him up here. here all the time. He's just a classic example of somebody who we know has genuine leaks and oftentimes kind of hides them, or at least teases them, right, to show you that he knows something more that he's letting on. And he also has a Patreon in his description, right? So, you know, people are out here buying Patreon memberships and Discord server invites to get leaks early. This stuff happens, right? I know that's not probably news to most of you if you've been around for a while or whatever, but it just shows you, you know, is it a big issue? Is it just a smaller issue? Obviously, we have shite gameplay. You know, like, every issue can be overshadowed by inconsistent gameplay, DDA, if you believe in it. Like, some issues are bigger than others, right? But do you think leaks actually affect the game in a positive way or a negative way? It's kind of like what I was trying to get at, I guess, with this conversation. Is like, I just want to hear your thoughts on what you think about leaks. You know, if you've been around pre-FIFA leaks, I mean, that was a pretty cool time. It was a lot of speculation. People who really, you know, had knowledge about the game kind of came first. Now it's kind of, what do you know? How much money do you want to pay to be in these leaked servers? Like, I mean, it's kind of a sham nowadays, but okay. Anyway, we have some SBCs here that we have not seen yet. SBCs or objectives, by the way. We've not seen Gabrielle so far, Zubazly. We've also not seen Montiel. We've seen Mojica, Pacho, Gray, and Sinisterra, I believe. We've also not seen yet. So yeah, some other SBCs and objectives here we have not seen. For some reason, Liverpool players right now are in like every Evo and SBC. Like, they're all over the place. I'm not sure why. Little money on the back end, perhaps, not to spread more conspiracies. Put my tinfoil hat on for a sec. I mean, do Liverpool need more advertising? Probably not. It's probably nothing. But anyway, just an odd coincidence. I can't speak. We have got no word once again about the Vidić compensation at all. So keep in mind, though, the Yaya Toure compensation, which was very similar to this. If you don't know, Vidić came out and they upgraded him on accident. EA just upgraded him for no reason, basically. They only scored 1 goal. They needed 2 goals to get the upgrade. They just upgraded him, and then ever since then, people have been wondering about compensation. If it, you know, is an unintentional upgrade, what are they going to do about it? This happened to Yaya Toure earlier this year when they accidentally made him a Premier League card, or was it La Liga? One of the two. They switched his league on accident. People who bought him all got their coins back. People made 50 million coins if he bought and sold them a bunch of times. And Rage Effect, who's a trader on Twitter, who made up, I mean, I think it was like 50 plus mil on that Yaya Toure incident. He even said, I'm calling it now, they'll remove the Vidić upgrade and refund everyone who bought him. So he does think that will happen. I'm sure he bought and sold some Vidićes in case that does happen. And it did take a couple of days for the Yaya Toure incident to be tweeted out. So there's a chance still they're waiting on that. However, I mean, they might just be like, okay, we don't feel like giving out 50 million compensation again to random people. How about we figure out a way to not do that again? So now they're like, okay, what if we just ignore it? Will that do anything? If we just give an unintentional upgrade to something? Is that the same as a player changing leagues on accident? I don't know what the differences between those two are, but as of right now, as the days go on, it's less and less likely that there will be Vidić compensation similar to what the Yaya compensation was. And also, Futzone himself, the man, the myth, the legend, has gone through a rebrand on his Twitter account. Hey, maybe he's turned a new leaf, or he just knows his credibility's in the fucking dumpster and then changed his Twitter account name. You be the judge on that one. And also, the UFL, it did have 1.3 million total players during the open beta weekend. I don't know where this number came from, but judging by the views that the videos were getting on UFL and the hype it was getting, I'm not surprised to see that at all. It just shows you that there is a market out there for another football game. If we can get some competition, it only will probably help us. And I do want to say, if you want to try and make coins right now, fodder has gone down massively in the last like 2 days here. Remember when 89s were going for like 23,000, 24,000? They're now 17,000. Even the really lower ones, 85s are less than 4 right now. 86s less than 6. They've gone down a lot. If you actually want to make coins, if the next promo coming up is going to be decent, we don't know what it's going to be yet. It'll be something with the Euros again. I think we've got like 2 more tournaments, or sorry, 2 more promos to do with the Euros or the Copa America. So will that be hyped up even at this point? Because Make Your Marksman's so mid, painfully mid, I don't know. But if we get good player SBCs, you should see some stuff rise. See more good gamble packs, stuff will rise. Like, the exchanges are basically the 89 rated cards will all depend on what content looks like right now. If content is kind of dog, like people don't really care about doing exchanges and pack weight seems to suck, then these will not be very high. If it's like last week where pack weight was pretty good and there was stuff to do, 89s went up to 23, 24,000. There was also good player SBCs out. So you kind of got to take a guess on what that's going to be. If you want to try and invest in 89s, they could be a really good investment. These guys will have a good floor because of the exchanges. They will always hold pretty pretty good. So they're actually a pretty safe investment, actually, even more so than like the rest of these guys. I actually think 89s are one of your better investments for the rest of the year, to be honest. I just voice cracked again. I don't want to talk about it. J Lingad, let's read our comments here. So do we keep buying and selling Vidić to get the compensation, or do we need to have him in our club? Well, it seems like with Yaya, you have to keep buying and selling him. You don't need him in your club at all. It's just if you bought and sold Yaya as many times you bought and sold him, you get all of your coins back. So like Rage Effect, when we saw his Twitter, that's the guy who bought and sold Yaya a bunch of times. He just did it over and over again until he made 50 million coins basically off the compensation. So you do need to just buy and sell him. Doesn't matter about if he's in your club or not, doesn't matter. But it does seem unlikely now to see that. But if you want to do it right now, it can't hurt to just try like once or twice. You'll make 2 million coins or whatever if it ends up working out that way. Arctic Beret does say this though. JFC support from Australia. I was also wondering if you could show us your templates for the league upgrades, because my ass is too dumb to figure it out. Thanks again to keep up the content. If you don't know what he's talking about, the Pale Tools templates for the league SBCs. And actually, there was a terrific comment by KM, and this is what his template is, and it's a very good template as well. So if you want to, I'm going to scroll through slowly. You can pause the video and like take screenshots of it, do whatever you want to. But these are all of his Pale Tools filters he is using for the league SBC grind. Yes, grinding league SBCs as well as getting some comments. Grinding league SBCs in July, or almost July, is kind of insane, but you can make coins by doing it. And if you want to have fun and you're bored, then why the hell not? But thank you to KM in the comment section for delivering on the template there, because I could give you guys my template, but like I had to type it all out and to save me a bunch of time. So thank you to KM. And then Domino's says this is kind of an interesting comment here as well. Shout out to you for actually mentioning Pale Tools. Many of these YouTubers are not only using Pale Tools, but also using trading bots. Their teams and balances are overinflated misrepresentations that they try to influence regular players with. This is actually something that I know is a fact. Won't name names, of course, but I know people that are, pretty big on Twitter and other platforms as well that do use bots and stuff like that to really kind of overinflate their coin balance and overinflate how good of a trader they are. Like, I don't give a fuck about, honestly, how good of a trader you are anymore, because there's so many ways to do it so easily, like Pale Tools and just buying a trading bot. Now you can have somebody play Weekend League for you. Like, this shit nowadays is not what it used to be. And you have to understand, not to be the sit on my high horse here, but many of the people on YouTube right now, many of them, not just the FIFA scene in general, like a lot of them are not as real as they once were. It's just not what it used to be. I sound like the get off my lawn kids old man, but that's actually really just the change in the YouTube scene over the last 5-ish years, I would say. It's not as raw and authentic as it once was anymore, especially in the FC24 and like the FIFA scene. Trading and traders nowadays, I mean, everything's behind a paywall. You got to make your bag, I get it, but most of the shit behind the paywall is like you're using trading bots anyway to go and do shit for you. Like, I mean, it's kind of just embarrassing at this point. Mr. Whitman, I quit in January and still watch. If you quit FC24 and you still watch my videos, I love you so much. Thoughts on UFL? Because I think that game is in a better state than FC24. I thought UFL was fun. I played it once. I didn't manage to like record or anything like that. I think I was busy that day. I only played it like one time, and I enjoyed the feeling of it. So I'd have to play it for longer, and I'll probably make videos on that if that game were to actually gain some steam and stuff like that. I'd make videos on it for sure. I liked it though. If you didn't play it, give it a try, because the gameplay itself, you can tell that there's some things it does better than FIFA at, and also better than PES, because PES kind of did do some things better than FIFA as well for a little bit there, but they're just eFootball I've given up on at this point. Of course, some things FIFA does better too. There's a lot more animations in FC24. The amount of animations you take for granted sometimes when you're playing a new game. And a lot of my comments have been just raging about the Argentina objective. People are just not happy because center backs really are hard to find. The goalkeepers, there's one good goalkeeper. That's not that inform. It's extinct now. It's Emi Martinez. Right besides that, I mean, good luck. It's like EA can implement so many good ideas, but then the implementation of those ideas ends up falling short to the point where the idea wasn't even like worth it in the first place because the implementation's so bad. That's not maybe the case for this one per se, because it's still like okay, but there's so much that they do that you're like, hey, that could actually be good, but then it all falls apart at their fingertips. And some of it ends up being great, but a lot of it ends up falling apart. There's always next year. And have I said thank you for being here before? I love you and thank you for being here. I love it.